Hello everyone, welcome to Bhavishya IAS. This is Vamshi Koturu. In this video, we shall discuss about what is extreme poverty, how Kerala is able to eradicate extreme poverty from the state, how its approach is actually different from the traditional approach, and what are the prerequisites what the Kerala has to make this goal to reach, and how the other states in the country can take the inspiration from the Kerala's model. Okay. So first of all, why this is in the news? It is because on the Kerala State's Day, that is on the November 1st, the state's CM has announced that the state is free from the extreme poverty, and also stated that the Kerala state is able to lift 64,000 families from the extreme poverty. So before discussing into how the Kerala has approached this social problem, we shall see what is the social problem and what are the basic steps we need to follow while dealing with the social problem. So now let's see the definition of a social problem. What is meant by a social problem? See, a social problem is a condition or a behavior which is actually harmful to the society and which is to be changed or removed. This is what called social problem. Okay. So now what are the steps to be followed while dealing with the social problem? So the first step is to define a social problem. Why do you want to define a social problem? Because let's take poverty. Many economists define poverty in a different way. So some take income as a basis, some take calorie based as a basis. So you need to define that particular social problem. Once you define, you need to know how to scale it. Once you know how to scale it, next you need to identify the causes of why this social problem is existing in the society. Once you identify the causes, next step is to identify the people who are suffering with the social problem. That means what? You have to do some sort of survey so that you will get some data on the basis of the survey. And the last and but not least, that is to formulate the solutions for the social problem. So now from the definition of the social problem, we can say that the poverty is also a social problem, right? So now let's discuss how the Kerala's approach is different from the traditional approach in dealing with the social problem. So the first thing is what? You need to define the social problem, right? So let's see how Kerala defined the social problem is, okay? Kerala defined extreme poverty as a condition where households is unable to meet the basic human needs like food, shelter, education, health and sanitation. This is how actually Kerala defined what is poverty is. So what we can take from this is that Kerala went with a multi-dimensional approach rather than going with an unidirectional approach. That means what? See, here you can see it has taken into consideration food, shelter, education, health and sanitation, right? In this context, you need to remember the person Amartya Sen, who said that the meaning of development is uplifting the people from the deprivation. This is what he said. Okay. So in this statement, we need to see about two important words. One is what is called as development. He used the word called developments. Okay. So let's see what's the difference between development and the growth. See, development is a qualitative approach. Okay. And where growth is a quantitative approach. Okay, and the next one he used is called deprivation, the word called deprivation. Okay, see, there is a lots of difference between the word deprivation and poverty. Poverty is something like when you define the poverty in sense of the income or the calorie base, that is called poverty. Okay, that is one way of looking into the poverty. But deprivation, where you consider deprivation, you need to see it as a multi-dimensional way. That means what? You need to consider social, economical and environmental factors while you are defining a poverty. Now the next step is how to actually quantify it, know what's the causes of those things and get the data who are actually present in that extreme poverty, right? For this, let's see how the Kerala's approach is different from the others approach. Okay, see the strategy for the poverty elevation by the Kerala. So first thing is data collection. See, in this data collection, it used the state level socio-economic indicators rather than the central level socio-economic indicators. Okay, and the next thing is it created or it used the technique called social auditing. So let's examine what is meant by social auditing. Okay, see, the technique of social auditing means whenever you are creating a scheme or a policy, you will involve the people who are actually beneficiaries of that social property in actually creating that policy, so that you will get a proper data and you will earn your policy or the scheme will be well defined. Okay, that is what called social auditing. Okay, and the next one is the precision poverty mapping. See, in this word you need to understand what is meant by precision poverty mapping. Okay, the word precision means to make sure that your sample will be as small as possible, so that the data what you collected will be more conditioned, objective, so that the causes and and your data will be much more refined. It is considering every household as a single sample rather than actually taking a village or a mandal or a particular taluka as a sample size. Okay, so as you decrease the sample size of your survey, automatically your data will be much more refined and also becomes much more objective. Okay, and the next thing is the highly individual interventions. So every household is treated separately, and so that you already I said, the objectivity and effectivity of your data will increase. And the most important thing is that the local self-governments are given much more power in dealing with these things. Once the causes are being dealt and also the data is in your hand, the next thing is to know or to carve the solutions to actually eradicate the extreme poverty. Okay, so next see how the Kerala has approached this step. The solutions to eradicate the poverty, what it went for the multi-sectoral micro intervention plan. Okay, so in this you need to understand the very important thing is called what is called the tailor fit solutions. So let's see what is meant by these tailor fit solutions. I'll just illustrate you with an example. Let's take two households. Okay, this is one household and the second one is this one. Okay, in this household, the income of this household is 1 lakh. And the income of this household is something around 80,000. Okay, but what happened is that in this household there is a person who is actually suffering from some health issues. Okay, for that that household has to spend something around 90,000 per month. Okay, and how much is the disposable income now? It's just 10,000, right? And here actually the income is actually good, but here the number of dependents, that means there is only one person who is actually the breadwinner and the rest of the people are doing nothing. Okay, let's think so the size of the family is 10. So what's the thing over here is, though actually both houses are different scenarios. Okay, but the solution is different, right? For this, what will be the solution? You need to decrease this one, that means the spending on the medical aspects, right? So that actually they will have enough disposable income and they can use it for their other things. Okay, getting some good nutritious food or some good education or sanitation, etc. So that means what, though these two people are suffering in poverty, the solutions are not the same. That is what actually tailor fit solution meaning is. Okay, so that is what actually, and it went for immediate solutions and also the long term solutions. And the other thing is that it makes sure that the solutions will be more inclusive and also sustainable. That means it has to be sustainable in nature, so that actually once they come out of the poverty, they should not go again into that particular social condition, right? So now let's discuss what are the prerequisites which helped the Kerala to reach this milestone. Okay, so see the prerequisites which helped the Kerala to reach these milestones. See, the first thing is high literacy rate. We already know that Kerala is the highest literacy rate in the country. High digital literacy. Okay, continued flagship missions, robust healthcare system and political will. So here you need to discuss about what is meant by political will. See, Kerala is a state which is actually mostly ruled by basically two parties. One is the Congress and other one is the communist based party. Okay, though these ideologies, both the parties have a different ideology, but the aims of those two parties are the same. So that is the reason why the Kerala is able to reach this particular goal very easily. So let's take an example of a state where actually is ruled by a government A. Okay, that government allocated some 100 crores for a particular scheme, and that scheme will be completed only, it takes something around 8 to 9 years of time. Okay, but after 5 years what happened is the government has changed. Okay, and the next government which replaced the government A, which is government B, doesn't want to continue that. So what happening here is that already the first government already had given much more time, cost and resources to that, but they didn't reach the goal. But if there is a condition that both the governments have the same goal, though their ideologies are different, then the goal will be reached very fast. So that is what happened in the sense of the Kerala. Let's see how the Kerala's approach is different from the traditional approach. Okay. See, in a traditional approach, the focus is on income-based approach. Okay, and the Kerala's approach, the focus is on multi-dimensional approach. In the traditional approach, it's actually top-down approach, but here it used a bottom-up approach. Here it is centralized approach, it is decentralized approach. In here you have the one size fit for all approach, here we have the tailored approach, and here no government or the local governments are involved, but here the local governments are given an active role in identifying and also providing the solutions. Okay, this made the Kerala's approach a different approach from the traditional approach, and also it helped the Kerala to eradicate the extreme poverty from its state. Okay, now see what it shows is that it is not what the government is, left or right, it is the political will that matters. Okay, right? So let's see what are the challenges what the Kerala need to address. The very important things, what actually the other social problems where the Kerala need to address are, the first is relative poverty. So what is meant by relative poverty? See, I'll just say you with an example. See, let's think so. There are two people, one person and a second person, and this guy is having 1 lakh income per month, and this guy is having 90,000 income per month. Okay, but when you see both, we can't say that these two people are in poverty, but when you compare one with the two, we can say that the second person is poorer than the first person. That means what? You are comparing yourself with others and making sure that you are in a poverty. That is called the relative poverty. That means there is a relativity, there is a comparison between two people, or that can be two economies or two countries or whatever it may be. Okay, that is what called as relative poverty. Okay. So now, and the second thing is the youth unemployment. See, it is having 14% to 15% unemployment, which is actually remains above the national average. Okay, and the next one is the fiscal stress. It is due to the high amount of money pumped into the social welfare programs. Okay, and the next one is high rate of aging population. So we shall see Kerala will also eradicate these things in the coming time. And see, we shall hope that other states get inspired from this Kerala model and make our country a better place to live. Okay, so if you understand this video, just please like the channel, subscribe the channel and share it with your friends, and let's meet you in the next video. Thank you.